Hey guys, welcome back here to Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys joining me for today's episode and hanging with me a little bit. A beautiful evening here in Southwest Missouri, man. It's probably, I don't know, low 80s, not much wind, just really a nice day, and gives me a chance to do today's video. And I want to talk about this. A lot of people are going to say, what's this have to do with fishing? And it has everything to do with fishing. It has everything to do with everything. And we're going to be talking about why, and I want to dig into this in detail. Human beings are in the process of making themselves extinct right now. This has everything to do with your life. It has everything to do with your grandchildren's life. It has everything to do with your fishing. Nothing's disconnected from it. So if you say, well, Randy, this is a fishing channel, what it has to do with fishing? Literally has everything to do with fishing. So we're going to dig into that in today's video here. Also, guys, quick invitation. If you have not had a chance to subscribe here to Intuitive Angling, man, free and easy to do so. That's a great way to help push the channel out on the YouTube algorithm. Just hit that subscribe button. That way you'll never miss a video. If you hit the like button, comment on the videos, and especially if you hit that hype button, that's a good way to support the channel too. And we also, guys, have channel memberships, man. If you want to be a channel membership and go to the next step to support Intuitive Angling, channel members get extra videos, private ones every week that aren't seen by the public. And you get access to my private live stream also for channel members. So all you have to do is go to my YouTube homepage and just hit that join button for information on that. So I really appreciate that. Okay, guys, this is something I talk a lot about on the channel. I talk a lot about environmental issues and, challenges that we have to our planet and to the human civilization and to bass fishing. And one of the reasons I do this is I have been fortunate enough to have a big flat platform on social media. I get almost 8 million views every month on my social media between my Facebook, my YouTube, my 3 YouTube channels, my Instagram. So 8 million people a month is a pretty decent platform. Excuse me, I don't take that for granted. And one of the things that I want to do with that is I want to do what I can to leave this planet better than I found it, when it's my time to go. And one of the ways to do that is to bring attention to what we're going to be talking about today, is the fact that human beings are literally in the middle of making themselves extinct. Okay, there has been 5 extinction level events on our planet over the past, 500 million years or something. We've had, everybody knows the latest one, the big, the asteroid impact that occurred off the Yucatan Peninsula 166 million years ago. There's been several before that. We're in the middle of one right now, guys, and this doesn't have anything to do with some natural disaster. It has to do with the stupidity and the ignorance and the greed of man. That's all it has to do with. So I want to dig into that in today's episode here. I saw a video yesterday. You guys may have seen this by Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's a really famous astrophysicist. He's worked with NASA before. He's a sort of a very well-known influencer in terms of the scientific community. And he put a video out, and it made me realize, I knew this, but the way he put it was really interesting. He said that we have never seen a period in our country where we have so many scientifically illiterate people in positions of power that are influencing laws and influencing regulations and deregulating and that type of stuff. People that are ignorant about science. It's a combination of they're either ignorant about science or they're apathetic about it. They don't care. They would rather try to gain more power and money by ignoring scientific reality. But the thing about science is it's true regardless if you want to believe it or not. Some people choose to believe the earth is 5,000 years old. It ain't. The earth is not 5,000 years old. It's between 4.5 and 4.8 billion years old. That's been proven scientifically through radioactive isotope dating and all that type of stuff. It's irrefutable. But nevertheless, there is a segment of the population out there that denies scientific reality. And that happens because a lot of people have a worldview that is based upon a certain set of criteria. And one of the things is that people will fight to the end of the road and to tooth and nail is they're going to protect their worldview at all cost, especially if it's something that you grew up with. If you if somebody taught you to think or believe a certain way as a kid, it is next to impossible by the time you get into adulthood, or it's very rare, not impossible, it's very rare for somebody to break away from that worldview because it's been so ingrained in your psyche. So even though that worldview may be, clouded in misinformation and, non-factual information and all that type of stuff, people would rather live in a fantasy world than face reality because it's not as painful to have to create a completely different worldview. Okay, so here's the problem we have, and this is what I'm talking about as far as how human beings are in the middle of their extinction process right now. The past 10 years or so, we have had a complete war on science. And the war on science, from a legislative standpoint, has a huge impact on the future of this planet. Because when you're talking about a denial of science, when you're talking about things like man-made climate change, and guys, if you think man-made climate change is a hoax, you've been listening to some fake news or some illegitimate science or some propaganda put out the big oil companies. Climate change is real. It's here. It's affecting our environment. It's changing our ecosystem. The 95 and 98% of the mutual consensus of the global scientific community all agrees with this. The data is there. It's irrefutable. Problem you have with this, guys, is and this is just one, I don't want to get into climate change. I'm talking about some other stuff, but I'll say this one thing about climate change. The petrochemical companies in this country, not only the petrochemical companies, but the pharmaceutical industry and, different type of very powerful multinational corporations have spent billions of dollars, guys, trying to protect their own interest. And when they do that, they've had an orchestrated campaign to discredit science. So if you have say, for example, a fossil fuel company that makes, $10 billion a quarter in profit, they're going to do anything they can to fight green energy technology. And what they do is they put politicians in positions of power. They fund their campaigns. They give them all this money. They have huge lobby groups in Washington, and they muddy the waters on stuff like climate change. And then when climate change legislation comes across, you have this politician that's bought and paid for by the fossil fuel companies that is going to toe the company line. And they're going to deny science, and they're going to try to discredit science, and they're going to try to throw some quack scientist saying that this is not the way it is, that's alarmist and it's a big hoax. It's all propaganda is what it is. And we fell for this because, just like Neil deGrasse Tyson said, we have put people in positions of power that are scientifically illiterate right now. And when you have people in positions of power that are scientifically illiterate and they have a vested interest in gaining power and profit at the expense of things like that, just like what Neil said, the astrophysicist, this is a recipe for disaster. And this is one of the reasons I'm talking about that humans are in the process of making themselves extinct, is because when you have global environmental issues that are on the table, and there's a bunch of them, guys, it's not just climate change. It can be everything from overpopulation, it can be from point source pollution, it can be from deforestation, it can be for, the entire, like the coral reefs are dying, which affects the whole ecosystem in the ocean. We have a multitude of environmental crises going on right now because we have over 8 billion people on this earth, and we pump billions of tons of man-made CO2 in the atmosphere, and we are altering our climate. We are altering our physical world that we live in, and the only question is how long it's going to take for it to get past the breaking point. And this is one of the things that the fossil fuel oil lobby has done. They've tried to discredit science, saying, okay, somebody made a prediction back 20 years ago and it didn't come true. The scientific community, guys, have always said that it's like the only thing that we don't know is how long is this going to take. We know this is going to take place. We just don't know how long. It's just like, guys, if you smoke 2 or 3 packs of cigarettes a day, it's going to kill you. The matter is it going to kill you at 50, 60, 70, 80, 90? It's going to kill you. Same with, what we're doing with the environment right now. So that's one of the things they jump on to try to discredit it in the public eye. So here is the problem that we have right now. When you have a power structure in place that is so ate up with power and profit and scientific illiteracy, that is making policy and setting legislation and deregulating laws that are designed to protect our environment, this is a recipe for disaster. And here's the thing about it, guys. We don't protect any of this stuff for our planet. Planet Earth has been here for 4.5 billion years, and it'll be here for another 4.5 billion years after we've made ourselves extinct here. We do this to protect ourselves. We do this to protect the human species. We do this to protect the creatures on this planet. The planet could care less about what we do because it will chew us up and spit us out, as it has done in the past before. So this is one of the things that I think a lot of people miss in the conversation, is this whole conversation of environmental issues that the low information, people out there have labeled as like tree hugging libtards that, are out to save the planet. It's not the planet. We're trying to save ourselves here. We're trying to save your grandchildren here. And here's the thing about it, guys. One of the things that a lot of people need to look at is we are in this incredible incredible planet right now. Planet Earth is like, there's no telling. I mean, for all practical purposes, the universe is infinite, but we are on such a special place being on planet Earth right now when you look at the rest of our known universe. And it's like we're on a little lifeboat out here by ourselves. So we have got to take care of this place. We don't have any other option, guys. All this bullshit about going to Mars and recolonizing different planets ain't gonna happen. We have got to take care of the planet that we have right now in order to ensure our survival. And it's for the life of me, I don't understand why anybody would want to listen to some mediocre politician with a community college degree that has spread a bunch of bullshit around and discredited and demonized the scientific community so they can keep their position of power at the expense of our very earth that we live on right here. This is one of the reasons that I say human beings are the most ignorant species on this planet, because what other species out there pollutes and degrades the very environment that sustains their life? It's like, why are we, as carbon-based life forms that humans are, why do we allow people in positions of power to pollute our air, to pollute our water, to pollute our food source, to undermine the balance of life on this planet for a damn tax break or some type of a financial incentive? It's the most insane way of thinking I have ever seen in my life. But here's the problem you have, and I have seen it on a microcosm here. And I go back to this again, guys. I have been dealing with the freaking zoning and planning commissioners here in my hometown of Springfield, Missouri, on a bunch of these development projects that are going on right now. Because, and we've talked about this before, I don't want to get into it, but basically, you've got these developers that, like, see the farmland behind me. It's cheaper to buy farmland and wildlife habitat that, like, I'm in here than it is to, to rebuild the infrastructure of a city. So the zoning and planning commissioners are in bed with these developers, and when somebody wants to put in an industrial park or a housing development or a smoke shop or an AI data center or whatever, 99% of the time, these zoning and planning commissioners are going to side with the developers, because the developers pad their pockets, the developers donate to their campaigns, there's money exchanged here. That's the reality of the situation. And the mentality, I've talked to these people, guys. I have talked to some of these commissioners and these zoning and planning people across the country. They are the most inept, just knuckle-dragging, science-denying, limited minds I have ever seen in my life, because all they care about is growth. Let's get bigger, bigger, bigger. Grow, grow, grow. Let's grow more and more. Let's get bigger tax revenue. Let's bring more money into the community. Let's get bigger and bigger and bigger. And at the meantime, we lose everything. We lose our aesthetics of the environment. We lose wildlife habitat. We lose everything that's special as far as what makes life worth living. And we need that, guys. That's the thing about it. You need wild places. You need natural places because people gravitate to that. It's like, why do you think people go to parks? That's just not, that's one little microcosm of this bigger picture. People gravitate to the nature of parks, even though it's a sterile environment as far as nature goes, because there's a therapeutic healing value to that. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have the type of an area that you could go and chill out and relax and recharge in nature? Or would you rather have, some AI data center or some freaking industrial park, down the road to where an area that you used to see deer running in? So here's the problem that we have with it is like, until we vote these people out that are scientifically illiterate and start replacing them with people that have critical thinking skills and awareness for what we're doing and a more grounded sense of common sense of balance. Now, granted, everything has got to live in balance. We have got to be able to sustain our population. We've got to be able to live on our planet, but there has got to be a balance. And right now, the balance is tilted 99% into the pro-growth business mindset, because it all goes back to the same thing we talked about, guys. Money corrupts everything. And once you get people in positions of power, I can assure you this because I've talked to them, they don't want to let go of that power. They don't. I don't care if it's a zoning and planning commissioner. I don't care if it's a city mayor. I don't care if it's a senator, congressman, president, whatever it is. When they get the taste of power, they do not want to relinquish that power. It's like it's a sickness is what it is, and it doesn't serve the general public and it doesn't serve the planet well whatsoever. So the point of this video, guys, is I'm just telling you right off the bat right now, we are going to make ourselves extinct out of our own ignorance and greed and apathy. And you can stick your head in the sand about it. You can say it doesn't exist, and you can say it's a hoax, and you can say it's alarmism. But I can assure you guys, if we continue down the same path we are on right now, where we have our environmental laws and safeguards deregulated and undermined and eliminated, and we have agencies that are supposed to provide oversight to our environmental situation, if these oversight agencies are stripped of their authority and shut down and put out of business, it is a freaking recipe for disaster. It's just like these damn AI data centers, guys. The administration recently said that they are not going to put environmental regulations on AI data centers, which are some of the most polluting facilities that we can have in this country. Again, it all goes back to money, and it all goes back to ignorance. I just keep hammering this away, guys, but I have had a couple conversations with some people that have had some type of a local and state authority, elected positions. These are some of the most ignorant people I have ever met in my life. I don't understand how they got to that position. And I know what it is. It's like, it's all about money, because if you've got some corporation that says, okay, we have this puppet over here that if we put this puppet into this position of power, they're going to do our bidding. They're going to vote how we want to vote. They're going to pass or suppress legislation that we want passed or suppressed, and we're going to put them in positions of power because we have millions and millions of dollars to do so. That is the darkness that we have on this country right now. And until we have, number one, term limits, and number two, take money out of politics, where people are not, or companies are not allowed to donate to political campaigns whatsoever. Campaign donations are limited to $5 per person or something like that. We're never going to get the best people in this country as leaders. We're going to get short-sighted, ignorant, greedy, money-grubbing people in positions of power. That is going to ensure the extinction of this human race. Now, you can think I'm full of it. You can think that I'm out in left field with that. Just think about it for a second. And you think, not only think about it, but you look at like the Union of Concerned Scientists in this country, in this planet, where you got 147, global scientists, climate scientists across this country, across the world, they have a global consensus of this reality that's going on. But then again, guys, you can't ever discount the power of money, because when you've got these multinational companies that have hundreds of billions of dollars at their disposal, it's going to corrupt everything, and it does. Money corrupts everything. That's the main thing, guys. It should be on everybody's wall. Money corrupts everything. And we're going to wind up being a little speck in the history of this planet, and it's all our own fault. It's not any. It doesn't have anything to do with anything except just the ignorance and stupidity of man for what they're doing, and we know better. And people like myself are shouting at the rooftops about it, and everybody should, because I can assure you guys that if we don't do something soon, our grandchildren and we may not have great grandchildren, but our grandchildren are going to look back at this generation as the biggest villains on this planet for what they've done and what they've allowed to happen. So anyway, guys, let me let you think about it. We'll talk later.